What is up, people of YouTube? Welcome to the Truckee River. No big elaborate hikes today. I've got a lot of reserved rides, and honestly, I am just really tired. So maybe a day hanging out by the river is just what I need. And a dog just jumped in the water, and I can't believe that a dog is actually playing fetch over here. Let's see. Right back over there. This water has to be so cold. It is pure ice melt from the mountains, and it's flowing, so it's probably like 5 degrees. But you know what? Dogs, I mean, they're obviously a different breed from humans, but they're just made tougher than us. It's crazy to think back, but a little over a month ago, I was down in Southern California in San Luis Obispo, and then Big Bear, Palm Springs, kind of just all over California. And now, the last month, here in Truckee, Tahoe. And I think a lesson maybe that I've learned is where I thrive would probably be here in the mountains. And less than 2 months ago, I probably would have been saying I hate the mountains and I hate winter, and I was just trying to do all I could to really escape. But now, just being able to trek through a lot of the mountains around Tahoe, basically just snowshoeing every day, which in the past I would have thought was a really boring, lame sport to do. But just the level of exploring I've been able to accomplish, and sights I've seen, and just being able to go way off the beaten path has really reignited that desire for adventure. Maybe living a little bit more on the edge of comfortability, and realizing that I'm capable of a lot more than I really gave myself credit for. For a long time, I was thinking that I wanted that comfortable, soft life. But I don't know. I think that there's something to be said for making things a little bit more challenging and difficult. I think that finding out what you're made of and what you can handle, there's just a lot of valor in seeking out that type of self-identity of what you can handle and what the next phase of life you want. So maybe just accepting who I am and where I am in life at the moment. It's embarrassing to tell people that you live in a car and that you don't really have any like immediate plans for the future, I suppose, and just how to get out of it. Just trying to work through it in the moment. And I guess what this channel showed me that I'm not really the only one. And a lot of people definitely have it a lot worse. Which makes me really sad, because they might be in the same circumstance but not have their health. And for me, as a able-bodied person, you know, I don't really have any excuses. And I need to take the opportunities given to me to just get outside of my comfort zone and maybe share a story each day. It might not be that good, but you know, repetition makes perfection, perhaps. Okay, this is gonna be crazy. Because without some risk of getting your feet wet, where are you gonna get? I mean, I didn't get very far, but you get the point. But maybe in these last few months, I've rekindled something that I've lost from my childhood. And that's a sense of adventure. I've never really been one motivated by money. I've been more motivated by being able to experience life and be around people that I really enjoy being with, friends, family. My time has always been the most important resource to me, and experiences. I remember taking a trip only when I was 15 to Malaysia, Borneo, and I thought that was the greatest experience that I'd ever had. And at such a young age of 15, that's all I wanted to do. But sadly, my sense of fear of the unknown and risk of getting hurt, harmed, was stronger than my desire for adventure. And now I think I've kind of swapped the script a bit and the story of I don't really care as much about the personal risk and harm. I'd rather search some kind of adventure. And maybe that's like a middle-aged, crisis I'm having. But then again, I kind of think that a lot of people who get older want more comfort. And I guess now I'm just embracing being more uncomfortable as a form of training to get ready. Maybe for a grander adventure. Something that will really test me physically and mentally. I don't know what it is. But I hope I get to experience it and push and thrive and not thrive, but push myself towards that, whatever is in the future. I remember talking about just needing one win in life, just the one W, because I felt like I had continuous losses. And that if I could just get one win, then maybe that would correlate into more wins, and then I could create a new pattern for my life. And that was kind of when I came back here and had more of a comfortable life, pet sitting. I was in a house, and I was just thinking, how can I get back to the state? And then feeling bad about not having a plan to get towards that. When all along, I probably had the little W's in life that I wanted and was looking for. I need a better rock. Sorry, I had ADD. So, the reality was that I had wins already. I mean, I grew this channel, I don't know, I grew it, really the viewers grew it, from basically nothing to just about 16,500 subscribers. I gotten to travel around this really cool state. I've met a lot of really cool people. I'm continually meeting new people through YouTube and these videos. And I'm just learning other people's stories and what they've done in their lives and their accomplishments and their struggles. And I've just been under the surface, I think, growing into a much better whole person than I've been for years. Even when I was more successful in a corporate career, married, I was probably more just living more and more of a lie than who I really am. And so by living a life of who I am as a person and character, the real version of myself felt like a fraud and a fake. Which then just made me feel bad about myself. And who knows, maybe I'm still like this fake person, but I think I'm getting a little bit closer every day and finding out that I can do a lot more than I really give myself credit for. I think that in nature, even as harsh and dangerous, unpredictable that this environment can be, for me personally, maybe that's where I thrive the most. Being comfortable isn't really where I belong, perhaps. I've been trying to make it that way and thought that's what I wanted, but maybe not. I get really inspired by people who are pretty well off. You know, they're successful, they're doing really well, and they put it all on the line, to do something really great. Stories that I've been just watching about Everest and the people that do it and the amount of money they spend and the months out there basically on the side of a mountain freezing to death above the death zone of 26,000 feet. And they climb these mountains without even thinking of the consequences of after the summit. What do they do? How do they get back? Do they have enough energy? They're putting so much on the line for this goal that everything else becomes irrelevant, even their own lives. And that might sound morbid, but it's inspiring to me that some people put so much on the line for a goal of theirs, even their own lives. Not that I want to put my life on the line, but maybe doing something far bigger than myself is what I need to pursue. And maybe taking other people along the way. Might not be climbing Everest. Probably won't be. But maybe something. And that's what I'm kind of searching for. And I think that we all have this thing that we're searching for and something that we really want to accomplish. And we might not even know what it is. For some it's God, some it's adventure, some it's family. And half the battle, I think, is finding out what that is. And the next battle is trying to figure out how to accomplish that. I think every day I wake up and I try to think, how am I going to make a video? Is this all even worth it? The amount of time put into making a video every day, trying to do something kind of interesting. And I always keep going back to the thought of, what kind of creator would I want to follow? And I think it would be one that would start basically from nothing, which I've check mark that one. But someone starting from nothing and just having the resiliency and persistence to break through a barrier, which seems impossible. Breaking through a YouTube barrier seems like an impossible feat for me. And so that's kind of why I have to try. And along the way, document it, whether it succeeds or fails, I guess is irrelevant right now. But trying to go from nothing to something seems to be a worthwhile endeavor. And hopefully, if successful, would motivate other people and inspire other people to do something outside of the box. Maybe chase their dreams, climb that mountain, train for an Ironman, whatever it is, travel Europe. That other people would see that it's not impossible, but just take the I am out of impossible and that you could achieve it. And I think that's someone I would like to watch. I've never seen that. And so I guess that I have to be that person. And that thought of following someone's daily journey throughout life, trying to be more successful, is just what keeps kind of coming back to me and motivating me to try and accomplish this goal, even if it sounds stupid and impossible. There's a lot of planes, and then we got the train. Kind of got a lot going on right here. But I think that the impossible is possible. And where there's a dream, there is a way. I wish that the blueprint was already out there for me. Sadly, it's not. And so I have to create that blueprint for myself. Off into the unknown. I know it's been done, but no one's documented it. And no one seems to have shared the story of going from the pits of despair, nothing, to then becoming something. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but maybe just become that middle-class American dream while pursuing a career choice that is a real passion of yours. A lot of the times, the zero part is embarrassing, and so I think that just gets glazed over. But from the history of my videos, I think that zero part has definitely not been glazed over. Or at least not fully. Maybe I've glazed over a few things that are just super personal, but it definitely seems to all predominantly be there. For better or worse for me. This is not a story of failure or of success, but one that's kind of in the middle. My story, perhaps your story, we're all in the middle of it. Unsure if we're headed towards success or crashing and burning. Just like a lot of other people's stories, our countries around the world, battles going on. We don't know where we are, if we're on the right path or the wrong. But all we can do is just keep pushing and striving forward. And I suppose that's what this video is about today. I'm just in the middle of this book of life being written. And perhaps it will be successful and maybe it won't. I mean, I hope it's successful, and if it is, hopefully this can be a blueprint for another person finding themselves down their luck, hoping for more, or just searching for meaning. We can persevere and push through a lot if there's meaning associated with our struggles. So maybe the goal is just to find that meaning and then success. I think I found some meaning, and that's sharing a story and adventures. Maybe more adventures right now because I just don't have the dialogue and the story to really tell quite yet, as it's still being written. But someday, I hope to share one that makes a difference. And I hope that you have the same story of life as well. And with that, I guess I'm gonna call it a day. I've come a long ways down this Truckee River. It's beautiful. It's been nice hopping over some rocks with you today. And God willing, I will see you tomorrow.